Kira Santiago's Central Illinois flower farm exists thanks to a legal maneuver by landowner Dave Bishop to protect his East Peoria farm, which Santiago now rents, from development pressure. Bishop, who also owns a farm near Atlanta, Illinois, couldn't bear to sell the 100 acres, first purchased in 1868 by his great-great-grandfather and farmed by each subsequent generation.
It is ideal development property because you've got some trees already, as well as some flat land. So there is a lot of development interest. If you look at from the air, you will see a subdivision that is poised to attack, as well as East Peoria city limits just across the field.
Despite encroaching housing developments, he put off numerous interested buyers over the last 20 years.
It's quite often likely to be double the price of farmland, typical farmland. If the land doesn't mean anything to you and it's just an opportunity for profit, I can see how people would do that. Since I have a 5-generation vested interest in this land, it means something to me.
5 years ago, Bishop learned about agricultural conservation easements, a way to permanently protect land for agricultural use only. It meant sacrificing development potential for preservation.
You don't do that in a knee-jerk reaction type of way, if you know, because you're giving up a significant income potential. But if you do decide to proceed with it, you need to find someone who acts on your behalf in setting all this up.
Bishop's loss was covered by USDA and the Conservation Fund, and Illinois-based Prairie Lands Conservancy holds the easement. Similar groups across the nation help achieve the same goal. The nonprofit American Farmland Trust, founded in 1980, is a national leader when it comes to efforts to permanently protect farmland, especially in high development areas. The organization connects landowners to state and local land trusts and helps guide lawmakers.
We're losing about 2,000 acres a day to development pressure. And so our approach as an organization is to promote farmland protection programs that are voluntary, that offer farmers and landowners the opportunity to protect that land with an ag conservation easement, which in turn allows that land to stay in agriculture for perpetuity.
At the current pace of 2,000 acres lost to development daily from 2001 to 2016, another 18 million acres will likely disappear by 2040, nearly the size of South Carolina. Reynolds, who is a 5th-generation farmer, worries about feeding the nation if poorly planned development continues on prime agricultural soils.
Those are lands that we refer to as prime, versatile, and resilient because essentially there's a lot of options of what can be grown on those lands now and into the future.
The process of gaining an agricultural land easement involves third-party land trusts, legal costs, and often waiting lists. Farmland is appraised at its current value versus its value with restrictions against development. The difference becomes the easement cost, sometimes donated by landowners, sometimes 50% covered by a land trust, and possibly the other 50% by a federal, state, or municipal program.
It doesn't mean that you're giving anybody else access to that land, but it does mean that that land is going to stay in agriculture.
As the value of the land is reduced by giving up development potential, the property tax burden could ease. Once established, protected land can still be sold, but new owners must maintain agricultural use. Currently, 30 states have agricultural easement programs, but most Midwestern states, including Illinois, Iowa, and Indiana, lack state government purchase programs. Reynolds encourages allowing for future flexibility when it comes to farming types and farming practices.
For the most part, the easement language, it needs to be fairly open because we don't know what agriculture might look like in 100 years. So it doesn't need to be so restrictive that we're saying that it has to be corn and soybeans produced on this farm.
Very little land, less than 1% nationwide, is currently protected by agricultural conservation easements. Florida, which is expecting another 10 million new residents by 2070, is using several types of legal maneuvers, including this kind of easement, to try to save farmland and other green spaces.
Seems like the rate is at least on the order of 60,000 acres of rural land lost a year based on our newest estimate. In Florida, the pace of development is probably faster than anywhere else in the US. We have really good data. Do we have the political will to get it done? There's a lot of agricultural land that we could protect if we're proactive. We have the opportunity to do that. Them staying in agriculture is completely compatible with our long-term conservation goals.
As for Dave Bishop in Illinois, his children supported the idea of locking the land into agricultural uses. After several years of preparation, the assessment revealed the difference between development and agricultural values was several $100,000.
We used some of the easement money to repaint and work on the house, do some repairs on it. The entire roof had to be replaced on the barn and some other work done on it. The amount of money that we got from the easement was enough to keep this in shape for, another 30 years, hopefully.
The conservation group checks the farm annually to ensure compliance. Bishop's youngest son hopes to eventually farm the East Peoria land, which is currently rented by Santiago the flower farmer, to serve metro area residents in the future. It's a possibility the easement helped protect.
It's not for everybody. There is no question about that. The point for me was, I know now that this land will always be a farm.
For Market to Market, I'm Colleen Bradford Krantz.